Whoa, what is this? Too many people here. Too many people. Unbelievable. Saludos, Alberto, saludos. Buonasera, buonasera. Kiroki. Saludos, Ricardo Cruz, saludos. Saludos, papá. Un abrazo, un cariño. A Borinquen, querido. Si eres de Borinquen. Bravo. Let me button my shirt. My wife says I look better with the shirt buttoned, so gotta listen to the wife, you know? Okay. Saludos. Is this Ed? Saludos, Ed. Wow, we have 12. It's unbelievable. That's incredible for us. 12. You know, I gotta tell you something, Franco. I was looking at the messages, and I saw you left me a message for the Patek Philippe 3710 stainless steel with the black dial. You know, I caught that, so I said, you know what? I gotta put it in there in the watch market update for another fellow, you know, loyal subscriber. All right, so I got you. The comment, yeah, the jumbo, papi, the jumbo comment, you know, black dial with a date. I can tell you many things about that watch. And they're all good things about that watch. All good things. How's that? All good things. One of my favorite. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back once again to your channel. To your channel, that's right, you know. And today, ladies and gentlemen, you don't know how me and Sweet Kid Kino to me, Joaquin to you feel. You don't know how we feel. We feel so good, ladies and gentlemen, that I first gotta say on behalf of Sweet Kid Kino, and you're allowed to call him today Kino, because we're happy. You know, we are very, very happy. Kino, coge uno si tú quieres, coge este. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an unbelievable milestone that we have reached in this channel, your channel. You know, you made it all possible, you know? They couldn't deny us. Saludos, Damon. Saludos, hey, saludo a todo el mundo. Saludo. You know, this is unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. You know, they couldn't deny us, you know? They tried. Sopla, Kino, sopla. Ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to believe this, but we made it. Even if today, even if right now, 5 of you want to, you know, unsubscribe, don't worry about it. You can do that. We already reached 8,500 subscribers. So if you feel like you want to unsubscribe, go ahead, knock yourselves out. You can do that. But ladies and gentlemen, we are so happy that we have reached a milestone that, ladies and gentlemen, to do it the way we did it, it takes unbelievable skills, and we have done it that way. You know, the real way. If you guys want to make any comments on this, you could. But let me tell you, we have people that do branding and marketing and all that good stuff. And ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, 8,500 subscribers, you know, is the equivalent. You know, we got to use special, you know, words, you know. is the equivalent to 800,000 of those things. You know, those, you know what I'm trying to say. I don't want to, I don't want that to happen. But ladies and gentlemen, we made it, and that is unbelievable. We are so excited. It's my birthday month. I turned 63 years old in the next 11 days, too much excitement. And I'm very happy because this gentleman has done everything in this channel the real way. The real way. You're always going to find exactly, you know what I'm trying to say. You help me out with the words and I'll keep on with you guys. Yes, Mr. Damon, I turned 63 August 22nd. I was born one summer day in the Bronx, in Bronx Lebanon Hospital, from my mother, Teresa, and my father, Nestor. Unbelievable, these people. I'm letting you, into my family's life. This is how I feel about you guys, So again, ladies and gentlemen, we reached a milestone that, unbelievable. 8,500 organic watch channel subscribers and counting. And counting. This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable and counting. You don't understand what I'm trying to tell you, ladies and gentlemen. What we have done. Quiero no lo va a usar. Yo uso verde. Usa tu pin. Unbelievable. 8,500 organic watch channel subscribers. What a month, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you to all of you who are here. Thank you to all of you who are here with me on this beautiful, special occasion. Unbelievable. Anyway, guys, I also want to tell you guys something. That if you don't mind, please give us a thumbs up, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel. This is unbelievable. Kino was telling me that people were slow pacing our subscribers because I have said and I have voiced out that once we reach 10,000, I will step down. And so Sweet Kick Kino got kind of a little bit upset at me. He told me, don't say that no more, so they won't, So I have to be, I'm not going to say that no more. But we're going for 10,000 now. We're going for 10,000. I think from here to December, we might be at 9,000, because this is, what I'm trying to say. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video, right, guys? Anyway, guys, let's get into a couple of things that I want to share with you guys. The price of gold is at $3,409. It has lost, it has lost like 89, 89 digits, from Friday to today. And the rhodium is at 7,091, staying strong, just in case you're following that. I don't know if you guys are following osmium. Osmium is another metal, another material, but I don't think you guys are doing that. But I'm giving you the name osmium, osmium, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to also tell you something that unbelievable. The catchphrases that Sweet Kick Kino shows me, He's the one that writes it down for me, and I repeat, I repeat it. Yeah, stick to go. Yeah, he always writes down everything for me. From window licker to possum kicker, tomato can, and so on and so on. And ladies and gentlemen, you're not gonna believe this. I want to say hello to you, Mr. Donut. Hello, Mr. Donut. I think this is Mr. Donut. I don't know if this is Mr. Donut or not. I want to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that I have use many catchphrases, and I have a lot of pretenders, pretenders that like to use my catchphrases. They're cheap knockoffs from the real thing, he's the real thing, and they're cheap knockoffs. They're using the words Muppets, tomato cans, window lickers, all that good stuff, crumb bums, what I'm trying to say, sandbags, and all that good stuff. But ladies and gentlemen, there was a word, where credit is due, And a gentleman some months ago, he told me this. He says to me, Juan, your channel, see, I can't take credit for that. I have to give credit where credit is due. and I can't give that credit to Sweet Kid Kino. A gentleman came to this channel and he told me that this channel is a public service watch market announcement channel. And that gentleman is no other than unbelievable. That gentleman, sweet. He's very sweet, you know. Unbelievable, Mr. Blair. So thank you very much, Mr. Blair, for that catchphrase. And you're not going to believe this, ladies and gentlemen. You might be thinking, so why is Juan talking about that this channel is a public service watch, announcement channel? Well, the reason I'm saying that, ladies and gentlemen, that gentleman that I call him in a very sweet way. I call him, Mr. Magoo, Mr. Magoo. I'm trying to say the hungry hippo, Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not gonna believe this, but this gentleman, he made his show, his show on his platform, and ladies and gentlemen, you won't believe what he said. He said, "Welcome to the public service watch channel." He used our catchphrase by no other than Mr. Blair. So if you want to go take a look at him so you can hear how he says it, it's unbelievable. I just want you guys to know that, because you guys need to know what's happening out there. I'm just trying to give you information. The hungry hippo, Mr. Magoo, is using our catchphrase. I'm just letting you know. I'm just exactly. I'm fed up and I ain't gonna take it any longer. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk to you a little bit about something that they're using this watch right now, and they're attacking you. They're attacking all of you. And when they start attacking you, I start defending you. You understand me? When they start attacking you, I start defending you. And ladies and gentlemen, there's a watch brand that is, I find it to be an unbelievable watch brand. But this watch brand is called FP Jorn. FP Jorn. I want you to listen so you won't get taken. And they're using this watch as a poster child to flim flam you and fleece you and hoodwink you. These hucksters. It was got a plan that I got to come and intercept it. I got to come and intercept it. And right now they're attacking all of you with the FP Jorn Elegante. The Elegante is something looking like the Richie Millies. Those Richie Millies. Those Frank Muellers. That type of watch. You know what I'm trying to say? Manipulation. You understand me? So, but this watch, ladies and gentlemen, most of you don't know this, but this is an electric mechanism. It has a battery. It has a battery. The watch is unbelievable. But you take it off your wrist and you put it down on your night table, and 35 minutes pass by. The watch stops right there. It stops right there. It stopped at 8 o'clock at night. You put it down, and when the next day you get up and you put it back in your wrist, the watch automatically goes to, you woke up at 7 o'clock in the morning, boom, it goes back to 7 o'clock in the morning. So these people, they're attacking you, and it's coming from over there, from the other side, you know what I'm trying to say? Okay, it's not so elegante, right? Like that one. You know what I'm trying to say, battery. And ladies and gentlemen, this is unbelievable. These people say that the battery lasts between 15, 18, and 25 years. It's unbelievable, But I'm trying to tell you all this so you guys won't get hoodwinking. And they're attacking you guys from over there, from where all those people go to, look for cover. Over there in Dubai, Oh, you know what I'm trying to say, the Iron Sheik, Tunic Man, all those people, they're over there, and this is what they're doing. You got that kid, that kid is a young kid that I call him Harry Potter. He's over there too. The guy with the termite teeth, he's over there too. And this is the new poster child watch they got to, get you. So be careful with that watch. I'm not going to be giving you a price on that watch. I'm giving you the warning. All right? So you know what's going on. Ladies and gentlemen, I gotta say something else, because in this channel, it's not just me and Sweet Kid Kino that work here. All of you work here in this channel. All of you work here. And I said about Mr. Blair, what the catchphrase that he came out with, and I gotta tell you, a gentleman by the name of Mr. Donut. Mr. Donut has also recommended unbelievable movies, and he recommended to me. Yeah, I thought it was a movie, but it wasn't a movie. And I'm a big fan. I'm a bigger fan of documentaries than movies. I mean, way bigger. I digest, documentaries. Soy un enfermo. I'm a sicko. When it comes to documentaries, I chew them up, I digest them, I put them back all together. It's unbelievable. And I've been talking to you guys for a while about all these bankers around the world. And I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, this documentary that I'm going to tell you, I talked to you about network. I talked about, homes, 99 homes. I told you about, I don't know, they live, the Big Short, exactly, all that good stuff. But you gotta see, and I mean this because this is the only way, this is the only way. That's right, absolutely, Mr. Donut. This is the only way you guys are gonna understand when I talk about, State Street, Vanguard, BlackRock, Blackstone, JP Morgan, Rothschilds, Rockefellers, all that good stuff. You're gonna understand. You need to see this documentary, which is called, it's incredible. All this I have seen it already, but in different forms. I have read it, a little article on this, a little video on that. But this thing, which is called, ready for this? It's called Inside Job. This is a must. This is a must, for your arsenal. This is a must for your arsenal, so you can see the way these grifters, hucksters, hoodwinkers, flim-flammers, who have fleeced us for so many years. You can see it there. It took me hours and days and months to learn this. But in that documentary, you can learn it all in an hour and 49 minutes. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. Let me have some jungle juice because this is unbelievable what I'm going to tell you, You got to see these people. And when I tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, when I go like this to you, I'm not lying to you, man. It all starts there. It's in that documentary. It's in that documentary. They're all there like that, You know what I'm trying to say? You know what I'm trying to say? Unbelievable. You got their figures, ladies and gentlemen. These people are so bad. You got their figures. An example, you got this gentleman it's unbelievable. Alan Greenspan. You know who Alan Greenspan is? Greenspan es un delincuente. He's a delinquent. Alan Greenspan. They all work together. That Wall Street, the banking system is a big government. It's a big government, ladies and gentlemen. You don't have an idea. When I use the word, when I say that catchphrase, they'll take off your socks off without taking off your shoes. Those people will take off your socks off without taking off your shoes with a pressed suit and a nice tie. You're not going to believe this, ladies and gentlemen. You have so many figures there that these people, these Muppet Boiler Room secondary grade watch market channels and dealers, I challenge them porque son unos morones, they're morons. They don't know about this stuff. They don't know about this stuff. They know about a roller. What can the Puerto Rican Charlie Brown teach you? You know what I'm trying to say? What can boxing black eyes teach you? What can Chia Pet teach you? Come on, guys. We're here we come to learn. And you got to give thanks to Mr. Donut. Because Mr. Donut, yes, we're live. And it's unbelievable. Today I feel excited. I don't know if anybody understands what I'm trying to say. Bernie Madoff, exactly. All that stuff, ladies and gentlemen. You have to see this so you can see this Alan Greenspan. You're not going to believe this. He ran with Reagan, Ronald Reagan. You know, this is unbelievable. He ran with the Clinton, you know, dropping faster than Bill Clinton's pants. The Clintons. This is already, you know, look at this. 8 years. 8 years. And he ran, ladies and gentlemen, with that Bush son. How many years have I told you already? How can these delinquents be working with the government of the United States of America, ladies and gentlemen? How? Because it's a big club. That's why. Ladies and gentlemen, I got to tell you so much. I'm going to tell you just a little bit more and I'm going to get out of this. Because I like this more than the watch market update, to be honest. But ladies and gentlemen, you won't believe where all these characters come from. They all come from Harvard University. They all come from Harvard University. You know, that very expensive university, ladies and gentlemen. And ladies and gentlemen, when I tell you this, you're going to be disgusted if you have any, if you have it here. You're going to be disgusted. You're not going to believe this. Do you know how much money and contributions, from all those people, from over there, from Wall Street, unbelievable. Fannie Mae, Merrill Lynch. I mean, this is unbelievable. J.P. Morgan, U.S. Steel. You don't know about this. You don't know about this. You don't know about this. Freddie Mac. I don't know. The SEC is looking for all of them. This is, and then, ladies and gentlemen, you also have AIG. AIG. Let me explain to you what Mr. Donut has brought for us. Is unbelievable, for our head, to learn more. Que no tengo la palabra aquí, no tengo la palabra, no me sale. This is too powerful, what I'm trying to tell you. You got Gary Gensler, Mary Shapiro, Laura Tyson. Papi, these are animals. Animals. These are the people that they can do whatever they want, and nothing's going to happen to them. A slap in their hand, and that's it. There was a cool cat in that documentary that they got him. They pinched him. They pinched him. And, that guy that I told you, Alan Greenspan. Alan Greenspan? He took care of him for $100,000. And he did a little time. He went to certain time in Club Fed. But they let him stay with the $317 million, Papi. It's unbelievable. Let me go back to Harvard, man, because I'm disgusted. This is going to hurt you guys. Harvard has people giving them money. All this money, they have over $45 billion in their school. Papi, pretty soon, all those public schools that our family members have gone, they're going to be closing down like the malls. The malls I told you, all over the world, the malls are closing. Shopping malls, closing down. Those little public schools are going to have to shut the door because this going to the university today. And please, Mr. Donut, and please, Mr. Damon, and please, all of you, Alex, Damon, wherever it is, Alejandro, whoever, Forza Italia, please help me out. You're not going to be able to send your kid to school because this is only, for these people right here. This is a big cartel. I'm telling you, you need to watch. I'm going to tell you every single time because you guys don't understand when I talk about Bohemian Grove, when I talk about the, Rockefellers, when I talk about, Blackstone, because these people are unbelievable. You won't believe. Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever heard of the bank, Countrywide? Countrywide. This guy must have sold like $99 billion in mortgages, and he made for the company over $11 billion. And he got kind of pinched, and they told him to leave, and he left for $400 million. Papi, this is the biggest thing there is. This is run by Harvard University. By Harvard University. They come from there. They all come from there. It's a big club. Let me explain to you, because I don't even know how to explain it to you. These people, these people are the ones that cause the problems in this country. And all of them have been rewarded by government jobs today, right now. Right now, all of them. It's something sickening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you. Our children are not gonna be able to go to, to those universities like Columbia, because you have Columbia, you have Harvard, Columbia. Those are the money-making machines by all these, this cartel. I mean, this is something big, ladies and gentlemen. You won't believe, I mean, the way us Americans, borrow money to buy a house, borrow money to buy a car, borrow money for health insurance for our kids. I mean, it's unbelievable, and we borrow money to send our kids to education. It's unbelievable, guys. It's disgusting. These people that work in the stock market son todas una gonorrea. They're all gonorrheas. With all due respect to anybody that works in the stock market, these people are flim-flammers. These people are cockroaches. These people are insects. These people have all done crimes, and they have all been rewarded by $87 million, $90 million, $400 million. These hedge funds. This is you don't understand what I'm trying to tell you. You don't understand. These people are worse than these watch dealers. These people are worse than these watch dealers, ladies and gentlemen. You don't understand. This is another league. And now I found a way to give you la receta, the prescription. Watch this so you understand what's going on. These things are monsters. They are in a different level, like an example, that guy, Eugene. Eugene? Eugene, a.k.a. Jacob McChicken. The SEC is looking for him. That's all I got to say. That's all I got to say. That's all I got to say. Eugene. Eugene Chiape. Eugene Jacob McChicken. The ACC is looking for you. I'm telling you what it is, guys. I know too much. But ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to take no more time about this situation. But I'm telling you, our kids are not gonna make it to those public schools. They're gonna go under, papi. $45 billion. The school that I call Skulls and Bones. I call it Skulls and Bones. Those people are unbelievable. You don't understand, guys. I'm in total. When you see the names that are there. MetLife, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs. Merrill Lynch. You're not going to believe this, ladies and gentlemen. When the situation in 2008 hit and Merrill Lynch was busted, broke, you know who bought him out? You probably don't know. Maybe Mr. Donner remembers who bought him out. Bought him out. You don't know who bought him out? Okay, I'll tell you because I'm stupid like that. Bank of America bought him out. When Lehman Brothers went under, Bank of America. Bank of America bought him out, Merrill Lynch. And you know who else? Lehman. Nobody wanted Lehman Brothers. Nobody wanted Lehman Brothers. But you know who bought Lehman Brothers? Para que tú veas que esto es una mafia, bro. Esto es una mafia brutal. Brutal. Esto es una mafia. Nobody knows who bought Lehman Brothers. Don't Google it because you're going to cheat then. But Unbelievable. Barclays, papi. Barclays. Thieves buying crooks. Unbelievable. You got to see, ladies and gentlemen, Larry Summers, unbelievable. You got to see this professor from Harvard, Martin Friedstein. Papi, these are monsters. Papi, these people have, you don't have an idea. Forget about James LeBron, Jordan Michael. These are cockroaches. Cockroaches. These people are monsters. Untouchables. Untouchables. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. You don't understand. When you come to this channel, you come to learn. Remember, listen is a skill. I want you to know that when you guys recommend me something, like the Big Shorty, They Live, the network, I listen and I go and take a look at to learn. You don't understand. And ladies and gentlemen, all these people that work over there, this is crazy. It's going to bug you out. It's going to bug you out. These people that work over there, they even tell them, you need to do this so you can think about money the whole day. These people think about money the whole day. Like I think about, a watch market update. These people think the whole day about money. You don't understand about money. Money, paper money, And the way they do it is they tell them that they need to do some drugs, so with that white powder, white powder, they need to go to strip joints, they need to call hookers. This is unbelievable, the corruption that is in there. You won't believe it. This will blow your hair back and knock your socks off. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't understand what I'm trying to say. I'm telling you that Charles Keaton, that this guy, Alan Greenspan took care of him. Alan, exactly, the candy, unbelievable. These people son unos locos, they're corrupted, perfect, pervertido, the mindset they have. You won't believe it. I mean, this is, and then, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just making this quick. We can get out of here. When AIG went under, you know who took AIG? Does anybody know who took AIG? Health, health, all that stuff, AIG. I mean, these are mammoths, colossal. Does anybody know who took care of AIG? You guys don't know? You know who took care of AIG? AIG? The United States government, Papi. Thank you, Mr. Donut, thank you. The United States government is all rigged, Papi. It's all rigged. You guys don't want to hear that. You guys don't want to hear that stuff because this is too much for you. You guys want to hear about a rotor, a spring, a tourbillon. You want to hear about that. But this is where it takes you to the watches. All this makes you better. This is the MK Ultra. Ladies and gentlemen, please let Mr. Ed Blair know that I congratulated him today. Let him know. Please congratulate him. I'm bringing the catchphrase. This is a public service watch announcement channel. Let him know he's the man. I'm just telling you what's going on. This, Wall Street is a government. Wall Street is a government. They're untouchable. They are untouchable. So please, when you have a job, watch the documentary Inside Job from the year 2010. Mr. Donut, did I watch it pretty well, or I didn't watch it that well? Or Mr. Thurman, did I watch it well? Thurston Howard III, did I watch it well? Please tell me how I watched, this thing, You know what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say. You know who Barclays is? You know who Barclays is? Maybe Damon will know who Barclays is, and maybe Mr. Blair, maybe for sure Mr. Donut. For sure, thank you, Mr. Donut, thank you. You know who Barclays is? It's those people, those old, Walking Dead, that they take adrenochrome, adrenochrome, crumb. You know what crumb is? Does anybody know? Those people that have over $600 trillion, the Rothschilds, Bobby, is all rigged. I'm not gonna talk no more. I'm just gonna tell you of all the good things that happened to us today. We reached 8,500 subscribers, and we have a channel out there. I want Mr. Blair to hear this. A channel out there, which I call in a very sweet way. The Hungry Hippo, Mr. Magoo, is using our catchphrase. This is a public service watch announcement channel. He's using our catchphrase. So just to let you know what's going on, I'm telling you, 8,500 subscribers, you should be happy, man. They couldn't deny us, Mr. Blair. They couldn't deny us, Mr. Thurston. They couldn't deny us, Alex. They couldn't deny us. They couldn't. They couldn't deny us. The Hungry Hippo, Mr. Magoo. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go into a watch market update because they say that I am very good at doing a watch market update. So I will give you a watch market update. And please, guys, don't forget that I gotta tell you, these people, these people have really, you know what? Let me say this before I go into the watch market update. There's a lady there. There's a Spanish lady, Latina. And Mr. Donna's gonna understand what I'm saying. The lady was so happy when, those people, Fannie Mac, Freddie Mac, all those names, all those crazy names they have, for the housing, for the housing. And things were bad, things were bad, and they were selling mortgages all over the place, when they take your house away. ¿Cómo se llama eso cuando te quita la casa? When they take your house, the bank takes your house, I forgot the name of that one, but you help me out. You know what I'm trying to say, right? So when they repossess your house, when they repossess your house, they were giving houses back then in the Spanish family, I believe they were from Colombia. Sad, it was sad. That part was very, very sad. I'm going to tell you the truth. It was very sad. You remember that part? It was like candy, like it was candy. They were giving out mortgages like it was candy. Foreclosure, there you go, foreclosure is the word. So the lady buys a house, and she buys her dream house. The American dream is having a house, whether it's paid, or it's the banks, or it's those flim-flammers, those hoodwinks, from Wall Street, the bankers. And the lady buys the house, and the mortgages, they give her a mortgage of something. It was a beautiful house, and she was going to pay like $3,000 and change. Maybe Mr. Donna can help me out. $3,000 and change. And these people were such mother froggers. They were such mother froggers, man. Listen to me, man. I cannot do that kind of a crime. I can't. That's why I made it to where I made it, and I will not be able to move from here to up there because I have empathy. I have empathy, and I can't. I just can't. The lady, so she's happy. She's gonna turn the key and walk in, and she's in her house, and they told her she was gonna pay $3,000 a month, something to that effect. Okay, maybe it's a little more than 3,000. I remember it was the number 3,000. And when she got her first mortgage bill, it was $6,000. The lady was upside down, and she was in the streets. So it's you need to watch this document because I mean it. You have to have empathy for people. You have to have sympathy, right? Sympathy, all that good stuff. Thank you very much, Thurston Howard, for that super chat. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart, Mr. Thurston. Thank you very, very much. Thank you so much. And you see that part is incredible. But to close this chapter of this, I always tell you guys, there's 18 years when something big happens in our country. And ladies and gentlemen, it's been 17 years since this thing happened. It was in 2008. You had that President Obama come in, and he came in with the same people that did all these bad things to all these people in America. It's sad, guys. I have to come out of character to tell you, it's sad. The same people that did all these bad things, that were dancing with the hookers, snorting cocaine, strip joints, all that good stuff, just making money and selling mortgages left and right. If you paid it, you made money. If you sold it, you made money. If you lost it, you made money. It was something big. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, Mr. Donor, for realizing that. It's about here already. The time is here already. It's been 17 years. And in the next couple of months, I don't know how many months, I would say, I don't know, we're in August, so I would say, what, 5 months? Is 2026. And ladies and gentlemen, there's your 18 years right there. There's your 18 years. Listen and learn. Listen and learn. There's your 18 years, Papi. You know, it was 2008. You know, that Obama guy came in. But you know what? I forgot to tell you, before he left office, that Bush guy, you know, the Bush guy, I told you it doesn't matter the blue or the red or the blue. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to me. You know, it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to me. That Bush, before he left, he bailed out. Listen so you can see how corrupted this is. He bailed out. Almost he said bailed out. Coño, bailed out. Esa palabra. Let me drink some jungle juice. Relax. Bush, not the beer. Exactly. Bush. How much? Put how much money he bailed him out for, Mr. Donut. That Bush guy, the Bush son. Tell him how much. 100%. They all hired the same. They all hired before he left. The bailout. Before he left that Pennsylvania house over there, you know, there it is. That's the number right there. I don't gotta say no more. Here it is, Papi. $800 billion to the banking cartel. I cannot continue telling you more because you're not gonna watch it. But I'm telling you, for a documentary to stand my hair in the back on something that I have read throughout the years in different books, magazines, YouTube, whatever it is. YouTube is a great tool. YouTube is a great tool. I will watch all this in this thing that Mr. Donor has shared with all of us, with me, Sweet Kid Kino, you know, Kino to me, Joaquin to you. This is unbelievable. You need to watch it. And ladies and gentlemen, you don't need to rent it. You don't need to buy it. You can watch it for free. All right? There it is. I'm going to go into the watch market update. Did I do all right telling you about this, about these people? That's nothing these days, okay? He says that 800 million, no, not million, billion. He said 800 million, billion. I don't know. This is crazy. I don't know. No. What's it? Well, how much was it? I don't know how much it was. It was ridiculous, the amount he gave. You know? It was crazy. There it is. You got Dr. Evil here. You know? Dr. Evil. Welcome back, Dr. Evil. Happy to have you here. So you heard all the good news, Dr. Evil. Here it is. We got 8,500, you know, subscribers. I can't say that word no more. You know, here it is. All right, guys, I'm going to go into the watch market update. Right, guys? Our first watch, ladies and gentlemen, of this afternoon is the Richard Mille, the RM023 Rose Gold with a burgundy trim. Saludos, Mr. Blair. I mean, it's the Dr. Evil. Saludos. Beautiful watch, burgundy trim. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this is Rose Gold. Beautiful watch. On the first round, wow, my God. Hank Posen, Jesus. It's sickening. I'm telling you guys, it's sickening. It's sickening. Sickening. It was sickening. Free money to all the bankers. You guys keep me here. I can't leave. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Thank you. You know, it's incredible the way all these people made money. I mean, no offense, but Jesus Christ. These people were racking checks. One for 400 million. You know, Countryside, 490 million. This Sugar, 87 million. The houses in the Hamptons. A penthouse in front of Central Park. Papi, monster. Skull and bones, man. They stick together. This is unbelievable. You know? This is unbelievable. This is why I told you that the 18-year mark is here in 2026. To all of us. Be careful with your money, guys. For real. Be careful with you. Wachovia, all that stuff. You're gonna find all that in that documentary. You're gonna find it all there. And again, I keep on repeating myself, but I gotta thank Mr. Donut for this wonderful documentary that he brought out to light, and it's unbelievable. They don't want you to watch this documentary, Papa. They don't want you to watch this documentary. This documentary is exagerado. It's exaggerated. It's when you hear this and the way I'm here. Yep, it froze up. All right, it froze up. It froze up. I'm gonna have to start talking about this. Yeah. Thank you for being back, and thank you for staying here. Thank you for staying. Just watch that documentary. It's mind-boggling, man. It really is. It blew, like I would say, it blew my hair back and knocked my socks off. Too close to the truth. Too close to the truth. Absolutely, Mr. Thurston Howell. Too close to the truth. And it's crazy. I'm telling you, I have read up on all this. I can't talk about that no more, right, guys? So let's just get into the watch market update. I'm going to get into the watch market update. Our first watch is a Richard Mille RM023 rose gold burgundy with a burgundy trim. Beautiful watch. Beautiful watch. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you do whatever you want. Don't pay for that watch more than $89,000 in dropping. All right, guys? You guys do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is a Rolex Rose Gold Sky Dweller 42 millimeter. Reference number 336935. Blue, it's blue eyes. They call this blue eyes. I'm going to try to do this watch market a bit quick so I won't get frozen no more and you guys can go on with your day. All right, guys? But remember, we reached 8,500. Blue eyes. The retail price is $58,300 with an oyster bracelet, rose gold. With the blue eyes down. Don't pay for that watch more than $54,000 and dropping. You know what? Is Franco Fiore still here? Franco Fiore? All right, so if he's here, then I don't have to do it yet. All right. Blue eyes. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch, don't pay for it more for the blue eyes. He's there. Okay. All right. Don't pay for that watch more than $54,000, right? For the Rolex Rose Gold Sky Dweller 42 millimeter, reference number 336935, blue eyes. Retail price $58,300. Don't pay more than $5,400. Just in case I get frozen up again, I'm going to talk to Mr. Franco Fiore. I'm going to give him a watch market update, and he is live here with us of a Patek Philippe 3710 stainless steel jumbo 42 millimeter. One of my favorite Patek Philippe's, because of the size. I can be in a real good day. I'm 6'3", 6'3", and then I don't know, I could be 6'4", 6'3", it depends how the weather is, in this sunny Miami, and I can wear a big watch, this is a 40 and it looks like it's, it looks like a 36, but with a 42, it's very, very powerful, this beautiful, Patek Philippe. They call this watch, the Jumbo Comet, and it's black dial, and it has power reserve, has a date, window. This is an absolutely beautiful watch, and I think this watch is under the radar. This is the watch to me that this is a sickening watch. It's a collector's choice, collector's grade, collector's dream. I won't say collector's grade because it's not. And this watch, you could have bought it some years ago very, very, economically, And I still say that today is very economically. And if you are thinking of purchasing this watch, Franco Fiore, this is a beautiful watch. They're asking for this watch out there, $85,000, $95,000, $100,000, right? And don't be surprised to the price I'm going to give you. It can be found. You know how it can be found? You cut one of my clips of right now, this watch market update, and you send it to them. And that's what you need to do. Don't pay for that watch. And don't pay for that watch more than $63,900. And Okay, you know what to do, all right? And you want it full set. You want it full set. You want it with all the bells and whistles from 2006. You know? You want it from that time. It's that time, that watch. That watch, I believe, is under. You know, under. That watch should be. But, you know, these lambones is how they do things, you know? It's whatever they tell you to do is what you do. So, you know what to do already with that number. Don't pay more. You do whatever you want, right, guys? Our next watch, ladies and gentlemen, is an AP Royal Oak Annual Calendar, blue dial. You know, unbelievable, this watch. Reference number 26574OR, 41 millimeter. I'm just gonna go straight into rose gold, you know, with that beautiful blue dial, annual calendar. Beautiful looking watch. And ladies and gentlemen, I told you last month for this watch Monkey dead. Watch Monkey dead in the backyard pulling floaty face down like this. I said, dead. I told you last month, or a month and a half ago, I told you don't pay for that watch more than $140,000. Don't get scared. Don't pay for that watch more than $111,000 and nothing. Okay? Nothing again. Dead. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is a Vacheron Constantin Overseas 4500V blue dial. The most beautiful blue dial in the industry. Vacheron Constantin produces it. The most beautiful blue dial. Unbelievable. This is the 4500V, not the 4520. Listen and learn. 4500. And ladies and gentlemen, has a retail price of $25,000. And I'm going to tell you, don't pay for that watch. You do whatever you want. You want a full set. Use slider condition material. Don't pay for that watch more than $18,900 and $7 debt. Do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. Our next watch, ladies and gentlemen, is a beautiful watch. So beautiful watch, ladies and gentlemen, is a Rolex Platinum Daytona 40 millimeter blue baguette dial, or ice blue baguette dial. Beautiful watch, ladies and gentlemen. Beautiful watch. 116506. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, don't pay for that watch. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want with your money. You can do whatever you want. It's not going to bother you when you do with your money. You know it. You know it. You know it, Dr. Evil. Smart man knows it. Don't pay for that watch. And I mean, don't pay for that Rolex Platinum, you know, with the chocolate ceramic bezel, you know, the baby pamper blue dial. Don't pay for that watch. And I mean, don't pay for that watch more than $91,000 and I don't care what they tell you. I don't care what they tell you. The watch market is dead. I know what I'm telling you. I know you got to be careful with your 401k. You got to be careful. Those people were there, you know, from over there, from Goldman Sachs, you know, and Barclays, they'll take off your socks off without taking off your shoes. Unbelievable. You do whatever you want, ladies and gentlemen. Our next watch, ladies and gentlemen, this is a sad watch. I always get sad with this watch. Of all the people that lost, you know, all their money, like the way they lost all those mortgages, you know, from all those bankers over there, you know, on Wall Street. You know, this is an AP Royal Oak Yellow Gold Green dial, 41 millimeter, you know, crayon green, unbelievable. Reference number 26331BA. Limited edition to 125 pieces. Ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to believe this, but that watch was being sold at one moment. You're not going to believe this. Was being sold for $700,000. Hay que ser tremendo lambón. Tremendo lambón hay que ser, tremendo lambón. You got to be tremendous lambón, you know? I'm telling you, palomo. You know what palomo is? Naive. You got to be tremendous naive, you know? This is unbelievable. $700,000. Limited to 125 pieces around the world. Yellow gold. Green dial, 26331BA. Unbelievable. Exactly. Limited edition equals logo. Deep. Unbelievable. And ladies and gentlemen, you do whatever you want, sir. Here it goes for you. Don't pay for that watch more than $160,000. And here it is. There it is. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a watch here. A Richard Mille. Another Richard Mille. Richard Mille watches are dead in water. Stop giving your children's tuition money away. Stop giving away your wife's 401k. You already gave yours already. Stop giving away your wife's 401k. I know what I'm telling you. I'm going to be talking about a watch. This is serious stuff. This is serious. The watch that I'm going to talk to you about now is serious stuff. This is a Richard Mille RM 7201 chronograph. Skelly. Unbelievable, unbelievable machine. But then it has this name. It has the Le Mans colors, that green, that white, Le Mans, like Rolex Le Mans. But this is the Richard Mille. And ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know about this watch was all the way up, all the way up, all the way up. One more time. All the way up with that guy, the Iron Sheik, Tunic Man, You only gave it to the sheiks over there. The sheiks got that watch. Because it's all the way up, ladies and gentlemen. All the way up. I'm talking about all the way up. All the way up. Don't pay for that watch. Don't get scared, Richard Mille owners. Don't get scared. It's just me. It's just me. It's just me. You know it. He's full. He's stacked up. He doesn't know what to do with them. That kid over there that I call Harry Potter, he's walking around all over the streets with 4 of them in his hands, trying to get rid of them, And I'm going to tell you, I don't want to tell you what they were being sold for because it's disgusting. So you understand me, you have to be one of those rappers, those rappers, those corrupted rappers, you had to be one of them, that kind of money. But I'm going to tell you today, ladies and gentlemen, don't pay for that watch. And I mean, don't pay for that watch. Don't be stupid. Don't pay more than $350,000 and dumping, Iron Sheik, dumping, Tunic Man, dumping. That. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. This is the big kaboom. This is the big kaboom. 18 years. 18 years. 18 years is coming up in December. Get ready. They're going to get you. They're going to get you. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is a Rolex Date. Reference number 228349 RBR. One of those off catalogs. $125,000. Diamond, bezel, all factory. Pave dial with the blue markers on the 6 and on the 9. Unbelievable, monster watch. Watch was being sold for, for those people, big people. $250,000. Ladies and gentlemen, don't pay for that watch. You do whatever you want. I described it to you. White gold, white gold, 40, date. Ceramic bezel, pave dial, that blue sapphire on the 6 and on the 9. Don't pay for that watch, and I mean don't pay for that watch. You do whatever you want. Don't get scared. Don't pay for it more than $83,000 and dumping. You want a full set. If you don't get a full set, you don't want it. You do whatever you want. This is a watch for these H. Muser fans. A Streamliner, Alpine, reference number 68111200, limited, tourbillon with a 42.8 millimeter casing. Unbelievable. This is a three-dimensional movement, with cylinders and hairsprings. This watch is an F1, wristwatch. Formula, the Moose. The Moose, ladies and gentlemen, Moser. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't know about this stuff. This is a Formula 1 in your hand. Blue strap, blue dial, tourbillon, it wants to fly. It's unbelievable, this watch. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. And ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to believe this. This is a $110,000 retail watch. $110,000. And to you, H. Muser fans out there, don't pay for that watch. I mean, I'm telling you, this is something incredible, ladies and gentlemen. Don't pay for that watch more than $66,000 and nothing, nothing debt. You do whatever you want. Our next watch is an AP Royal Oak Rose Gold Blue Chrono, reference number 26331, 41 millimeter. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to show you something today. I'm sure most of you know this, but to the ones that don't know it, I'm going to teach you something. When they talk to you about this watch, this, AP Royal Oak Chrono Rose Gold with a blue dial, right? 41 millimeter, and it's the reference number 26331, but they don't tell you this part. They tell you it's converted. It's a watch that wasn't born fully rose gold. When they use the word converted, that means everything is authentic on the watch, but it was born with the casing and rose gold chrono with a blue dial, but it had a leather strap and a buckle in rose gold. They took that out and they ordered the bracelet and they converted it into a full rose chrono 26331. But it wasn't born that way now, so that's why they call it converted. Okay? So when you hear the word converted, you know what it is, all right? Thank you. He made it simple for me. I'm telling you, we have a gentleman here that always tells me, keep it simple, Juan, for these people. And right now, I don't know who it was. I think it was Franco kept it simple for me. Well, thank you very much, Franco. Thank you very much, all right? And don't pay for that watch, ladies and gentlemen. You do whatever you want. Don't pay for that watch more than $73,000 and dropping. Just in case you want to know, if you want to buy that rose gold bracelet from AP, it's going to cost you like $30,000 and change. All right? Just in case you want that. Ladies and gentlemen, here's another watch. Patek Philippe Grand Complications, the Celestial. You know what a Celestial is? It's a monster watch. It's a monster watch. It's unbelievable. The Celestial. Thank you very much, Damon. Thank you so much for the kind words. The Celestial, ladies and gentlemen. This is platinum. It's a beautiful watch. This is a watch that, again, this is the type of watch that you put on and, if a lady stops by you, she's not going to drop her panties. It's more of a respectable watch. Celestial, papi, 44 millimeter platinum, with that moon dial. Unbelievable. It's crazy, this watch. It's crazy. And ladies and gentlemen, I got to tell you the truth. You're talking about a retail price on this watch of $374,534. $374,534. Celestial. Grand Complications. Just the head, the casing of the watch is platinum, and the little buckle, the rest is leather. And I'm going to tell you, because I'm kind of stupid like that, don't pay for that watch, and you do whatever you want. You do whatever you want, but don't pay for that watch more. Don't pay. Listen, don't play with me, watch dealers out there. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. And don't play with my subscribers. Don't play with my subscribers. Don't play with me. You know why I'm saying that? Because somebody is parading that watch around and has it, you can put whatever number you want on a watch. Doesn't mean you sold it. But he's asking for the watch $375,000. And the watch costs $74,534. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm stupid like that. Because I'm stupid. Sir, you're going to put this watch away. Because with this channel, my army, forget about it. Don't pay for that watch more than $298,000 and do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is AP Royal Oak Stainless Steel 15510. 50th anniversary, green dial, 41 millimeter. Does anybody know what I'm going to try not to pay for that watch? Because I know you like this, the rotor with the 50th, anniversary on the rotor that spins around. Does anybody know? Nobody knows? I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you because I'm stupid like that. Don't pay for that beautiful AP Royal Oak Stainless Steel 15510. 50th anniversary green dial, 41 millimeter. Don't pay more. And I mean, don't pay more than $44,000 in. Kilo, hala, Got me again. Got me again. Got me again. Don't play. Don't play with us. Don't play in this channel. Don't play. Don't play in this channel. I know what it is. And ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of this beautiful watch show. I hope you guys enjoy this watch show. I hope you enjoy it as much as I enjoy it, because I really enjoy it very, very much. I want to thank all of you who have been supporting this channel since the beginning. We have reached 8,500 subscribers, and we're really, really, really happy about that. And it's all thanks to all of you. From the bottom of my heart, I want to thank all of you for helping out this channel grow. You know, it continues growing. I will continue bringing you guys everything that I get to learn. I will pass it down to you, like the same way Mr. Donut passed down this movie, which is called Inside Job, to you guys. You know, I will keep on doing my parts. I hope you guys continue doing your parts, you know. And again, I want to thank you. I'm excited about the 8,500 subscribers from the bottom of my heart. I want to thank all of you one more time. Thank you so much. Okay, guys, and today I'm not even going to say I have a private watch group or nothing. You know what I should say, because, you know, if you do belong to the private group and you guys are asking me for a watch market update, you can also leave it there. You know, you can put it there for me and I can see it quickly. You know, I can see when I look at it, you know, that you're looking for this watch and you want to know a price, okay? Just in case you don't want to send an email, if you belong to the private watch group, which is my name, Juan Felipe Nieves. It's you go to About, it's Opusntime. Request to join it, you know, depends how we see how you are. If you've been a member of your page for a month, we're gonna decline you, you know. So we want to see people that've been around for a while, you know. Well, guys, thank you so much. And like me and Sweet Kikino will say always, take care and brush your hair. Bye bye, guys. Thank you so much for everything. Thank you very much.